All right, good morning. We're going to find out some really good information this morning. First, going to start off with Bodhisattva, but we're going to get into a book, Puja. You are looking at Jamison, Shults, and Marla Emory. Stick around. Steely Dan from the Countdown to Ecstasy Project, their song Bodhisattva. That's going to set us up here at the New Rue 102 for our guests in the studio. We have two. You're looking at Jamison Shults in the studio, and for those in Radioland, you're looking at them in the theater of your mind. Also, we have Marla Emory in the studio. Marla, I know. So good morning, Marla. How are you?
I am great.
All right. Why don't you introduce Jamison, because you know Jamison better than I, and then Jamison, tell us about yourself, my friend.
So this is Jamison Shults. He's been back in Ruston for 2 years now. He went to Ruston High and graduated and then traveled the world for 30 years and then ended up back here in Ruston. So I'll turn it over to Jamison.
Well, Jamison, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you.
When did you graduate Ruston?
92.
1992.
Graduated in 92. Marla graduated a year later from Cedar Creek?
Cedar Creek in 93.
Never knew each other until we met 30 years later.
All right, so I'm going to go a long way around to get to Pooj's house here. I mean, you don't just graduate Ruston in 1992, travel 43 countries?
46.
46 countries, and then 6 continents, wondering why you didn't get them all, but you still have time on that. How did that journey ever begin?
Oh, I had this need to travel. When I was young, we lived in Venezuela and Singapore, and so I had the bug, and then finished college up in Colorado, and after that decided just to go. I got my certification in yoga and a massage and just traveled the world teaching and training yoga teachers and doing wellness retreats and taking people on international yoga wellness vacations. All
right, so at the graduation ceremonies for the Bearcats of 1992, so most people, well, you said you went to college, but then somewhere you said, you know what, I got to travel on. And a lot of folks have that kind of a thought. They don't act on it for various and sundry reasons, all viable, etc. But with you, obviously, the shackles were unleashed. When and where did that start? You say with your parents traveling as a youngster?
Yeah, we started very young. I'm 5 years old. I went to Singapore for the first time. When I was 7, we moved to Venezuela. But after that, just had the bug. I just wanted to go, and I never felt like there was a border that was in my way. Being American, luckily, I'm able to travel most places I want. Luckily, my mom was also a flight attendant, so I got to fly pretty much free.
There you go.
Anywhere that American Airlines went. So I took advantage of that, and then I found out a way to actually make money from it. So I'd go somewhere in Costa Rica and start teaching and training and running a small business there, and it just went on from country to country.
Jamison Shults, our guest here, written a book. This is going to be first of a series, Puja. We're going to find out Puja, and I kind of like what you have. Destiny awaits. Destiny awaits. For the child in all of us. And when I see destiny awaits, my mind defaults to Back to the Future. You are my greatest density. And so a good thing it's not density awaits. But all right, so what motivated you to come home after traveling? And do you feel, well, I don't sense it after just talking to you for this little bit, you're going to be staying here for a while. But I mean, what motivated you to come back to Ruston? Ruston's a great place to get away from and a great place to get back to.
It is. It's interesting. Being 19 years old, you're thinking, all right, it's, just got to get out of here. I got to see something bigger. I want something more. Mm-hmm. And coming back 30 years later, I looked around. I was like, okay, wait, it's quiet. It's green. There's not much traffic. It's low cost of living. Why not? And then luckily I found Marla, and I don't have to travel by myself anymore now. I can travel with Marla, and we'll do things together. So yeah, it is definitely home now, and a good place to leave and come back to when I need to.
When you get in a relationship, one influences the other, and vice versa. There, she is a triathlete. So does that mean that she's got you running and riding and swimming and all this right now?
No, I'm the one carrying the water and the food and making sure that she is hydrated and fully satiated.
Good for you.
Massage therapist. So
he's a massage therapist.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what a fee to get on this radio station is? It's one full body massage a month for a year. I don't know if that was negotiated with our...
As long as it's off camera, we're fine with that.
Oh, yeah. No, yes. I'm good with that. Jamison Shults, Marla Emory, our guest here. Puja, Destiny Awaits. It's the beginning of a series. Now take us back to what this is, and then the quote corroboration, because we know Marla is a gifted artist in design, and So many things, but this is the first time that she's ever illustrated a coloring book. Let's go to the story first there, Jamison, then we'll get to the coloring part.
Well, the story starts actually 20 years ago. I was walking on a beach in southern India, and I look down and I see these crows pecking at something, and I grab it up, and it's this little puppy with his eyes barely open. So I spent a week recuperating the puppy back to health, and then a week later, as we got ready to leave, nobody would take the puppy, so I just put the puppy in a bag and carried it on the plane with me all the way back to Costa Rica. She lived a long and happy life in Costa Rica with me.
You know, that also reminds me, and I have this piece, and it comes from Field of Dreams, when Kevin Costner goes to Terrence Mann. You once wrote, "There comes a time when all the cosmic tumblers in the universe click into place to show you what's possible." Now that's kind of like destiny to me, and that's a synchromistic, some folks who call it a God thing, but that's exactly what happened to you and Pooja. And you know, what motivated you to literally to take Pooja from India to Costa Rica? Because you know as well as I, you could have left her behind. Or he or she.
You know, I think the way it is when you give your love and affection to something and then you have to turn around and hand that over to somebody else. Well, if there's not somebody there who's adequately going to continue giving that kind of care and love, then you take it upon yourself just to make things happen. So never had to check her in customs or anything. She was so young. I literally just took her like a ghost right through the.
Comes a time.
This was pre-TSA that we have these days, though.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
For sure.
All right, so we just played Bodhisattva by Steely Dan. So why don't you give us the education lesson? Because in my feeble understanding, Pooja became a Bodhisattva canine.
Yeah, so what happens in the first part of the book, and no spoiler alerts, but she gets into a situation where she becomes unconscious. When she's unconscious, she comes into contact with the great animal council. And so here I drew on her culture, which was the Hinduism and those kind of things, in order to pull her culture in, which is part of what we want to do in every single book. Each book will have an introduction into a culture and into their mannerisms and into the things that are special and spiritual for them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, where were we headed with that? Oh, anyway.
There was a train of thought
there.
there.
Yeah, there's a train. So she's given a boon, basically. She's told that she can come back and that her job will then to be travel the world and help other animals that are in need. And luckily she meets Jay, who has a company that does just that. He travels and helps people after natural disasters. And so she becomes his best friend, and he hers, and he trains her, and she becomes a rescue dog.
Are you the Jay in a figuratively way speaking?
Figuratively, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So, man, this is fascinating. Pooja, destiny awaits for the child in all of us. All right. So, when did you write this, thinking Marla could be the illustrator? What was that cup of coffee conversation?
Funny, it's a spilled cup of coffee, actually.
Oh, really?
I wrote the book about almost 20 years ago, about 15 years ago, and it was on my computer, and we were in Genting Highlands, Malaysia, and someone came in my room while I was asleep and stole my computer. So 15 years later, I'm thinking, all right, it's time to get this book back out there. And just knocked the book out, and as I did, I was writing down my ideas for the illustrations. And Marla, in our travels last year, she sketched and sketched and sketched everywhere, and I loved her style. It's extremely unique. And I said, Marla, you're the only one to do this book, so please illustrate this. And she produced images that I could not even have imagined. She went way over and above, and just the layout of the book and the way that it works with the imagery in there, it's beautiful. There's a story alone in the pictures.
All right, well, Marla, now you pick that conversation up. I'm flashing up some of the illustrations here. Let's talk about this one. Is this Pooja? Looks like Pooja's looking at a rope.
So that's one of the early pictures of Pooja, when Pooja is just a puppy, and she is in her the fishing village where she was born, mm-hmm. playing in the ropes and the fishing nets, watching the men pull the fishing nets out of the water, and all the women come down and help to gather the fishing nets. So it was really just an introduction to Pooja and her life.
So the coloring book, okay, the proverbial question, chicken or egg. Obviously Pooja came first, but then book came first, and then this is a pretty fine coloring book here. So now, wait a sec. You did the illustrations and the coloring book who came up with this idea? Because now children and any age can. Well, I don't even know why I say children. Adults can color too. You know, maybe that's what we need to do. Can put their imagination in here. Where'd this come from?
I think Jamison actually came up with the idea of the coloring book just to be able to engage children a little bit more with
or big children, because
or
as
big
it
children,
as it says,
sure.
for the child in all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, if you want to buy a burger, you often want the fries. So the coloring book is basically the fries to go with the burger.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Unless you're vegan and, you know, eat what you want.
What we're looking at here, Marla, you did this with the crab and Pooja?
Yes.
All right. Is this in the India side of Pooja's life or the Costa Rican side?
This is the Costa Rican side of Pooja's life. So that is Pooja on the beach playing with the crab and watching seagulls and just getting used to life in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It looks like they're having fun. I mean, they're not adversarial in this at all. All right, we got a gentleman here. Amrit, did you say?
Yeah.
Tell me about him.
So this is Amrit. He is the concierge of the nice little resort they're staying at there in southern India. His name is Amrit because the word Amrit in his language means drop of nectar, and he's Sikh, as you can see by the turban on his head, and the Sikh golden temple of the head of their religion is in Amritsar. So again, every piece of this book were little bitty drops of nectar, if you will, that I've taken from my travels, and I try to cover. In India, it's hard to cover all of the culture because there's so many different cultures there and belief systems. So I really tried to wrap everything together and give a complete picture of what she would have experienced there.
All right, so this is the first of how many yet to come, or is the end not even written because it's...
Well, we're looking at 12 to 15. We will put out 2 more books this year. By Christmas, there will be a set of 3 books that you can get and 3 coloring books. And we're looking to do at least 3 books a year for the next 5 years. And then we have other series that we're going to be doing too, The Land of Lost Socks, things like that.
Now, you're not saying the land of lost sucks.
No.
You're saying the land of lost socks. S-O-C-K-S.
Where do SOCKSs go when they're sucked into the portal and you always end up with one sock, right? So it's a story of all the other individual socks that yet to come. There should be one out by the first part of next year.
So did this come when you were in the Himalayas, that idea? Because these socks go, you said portal. Where, I mean, I always thought there was a conspiracy about bounce. You throw a bounce in there and a sock disappeared.
Yeah, no, I think there's portals in the couch. I think there's portals under the bed. I think there's portals in the actual dryer. And therefore, you always end up with one sock less than you started with.
All right, so we'll make a date to have another show about the lost socks.
Beautiful.
In the meantime, Pooja, the coloring book is there. The cover of the book is here. How can folks who are piqued, their interest is piqued, to say, you know what, I want to get one of these. I want to get 5 of these. How do I go about doing that?
How do they do that, Marla?
So they can go on Amazon and search.
Just go to the website.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they can go to the website.
JamisonSchultz.com?
Yep, JamisonSchultz.com. Thank you. And on there, if you see the book down below that you want, click on that. It will take you directly to the sales page on Amazon where you can get your book and where you can also leave us wonderful reviews because we know you're going to enjoy our book.
Well, it's a little bit small of a QR code, but if folks would take a picture of that, I think that would take them right to a spot where they can buy them as well.
This is true.
So I wrote down here because I think what's really neat, and I don't think it's a matter of coincidence when things happen. Well, they are coincidences, but the Ruston Animal Control, what they're doing with their pictures to get all these pets out and adopted by their forever families, and then you're coming on here. I mean, there's some kind of a story there, and well, Marla, that's a story. Tell us about the Ruston Animal Control building. I mean, you had a hand in designing that.
Yes, our firm, Studio Brooks Emory, we were the architects and designers for the Ruston Animal Control office, and animal shelter, as we like to call it, more than animal control.
Right.
But so over the last 6 years, we worked with the city and with the mayor and with Bill Sanderson to really create the animal shelter, and it's been open for about a year, and they're doing fabulous things out at the shelter, and we couldn't be happier being able to give that to the community.
Oh, it's awesome, and and whomever, and I want to get that person on because they are, putting up really cute photos and getting these cats and dogs into forever homes. So may Pooja be a part of that in creating the awareness and the inspiration. Closing thoughts there, Jamison. What do you want people to take away from our day today?
Well, the name Pooja actually comes from the idea of ceremony or offering, right? And so originally when I named Pooja Pooja, it's because I felt like she was an offering from the Great Spirit, from God, if you will, that she was given to me, and she was my responsibility to look over, and then she did the same for me, to take care of me. So to take that further is that this is an offering to readers, to people that want to read something beautiful. The ideas to take from this are learn about cultures, learn that it's okay to travel, it's okay to have loss in your life and then to bounce back from that. Learn to have courage and bravery. Learn to have compassion for other people. These are the messages that Marla and I really hope are portrayed in the words and in these wonderful illustrations in this book.
You know, if you ever need help in actually literally reading this, because we have the Louisiana Center for the Blind here, I'd be happy to help you produce that.
Wonderful.
Love that.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is all things local. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yep.
You once wrote that. Okay. All right, Marla, thank you so much for making this happen.
Thank
Jamison,
you.
thank you for coming in here, folks. Pooja, density awaits. Just kidding. But they'll remember it, right? It's destiny awaits for the child in all of us. It's JamisonSchultz.com, JamisonSchultz.com. Here's Stevie Ray Vaughan now on the new Rue 102. We're up online as well, KWXMFM.com. All right, so there you have it. We're going to kill the stream. Get the book. Sounds mighty fine. Wave goodbye and...